G'day viewers, I've decided to do a video inspired by drunk history, my drunk kitchen. I'm sure there are other drunk videos. I'm going to call it drunk politics, where I try to make a coherent rant about politics when really drunk. And that has its challenges, let me tell you. See, normally when I make videos, I make a few notes. And I wanted to do a rant about the Australian federal government and their budget. Whenever I made notes, it just evolved into what a bunch of cunts. And I've had an interesting conversation on Twitter tonight about my use of the word cunt and what that means. That's a whole different story. What I'm saying is I really don't like our government here in Australia and their budget. See, politics is opinion, largely. It's not fact. No matter what people on either the left or the right say, politics is not fact. It's opinion. It's, for want of a better word, it's morals. It's what you think is important. And you can argue either side. And while I've never shied away from the idea that I'm a sort of radical loony left type, different people have different experiences of the world and different things are important to them. But holy crap, the current federal government in Australia are a bunch of mammoth shitheads. And I'll try to explain why. See, they've passed down their budget, the first budget of this current government, and it's a combination of ideological war for no good reason and a pack of outright fucking lies. And I'm really sick of people going, ooh, all politicians lie. If you don't expect politicians to lie, you're naive. This is really fucking extreme. You see, I have been on this earth for a goodly number of decades, okay? And I've seen governments I really disagree with, and I've seen governments that I kind of agree with. I've never seen a government that's so driven by revenge. As I pointed out in videos before the federal election, the Conservative parties in Australia had categorically defined some people as enemies, and revenge would be visited upon them. And it's really happened in their first budget. Because what the budget does is say the most vulnerable people in our society can fuck off. Okay? It's just a fucking love letter to corporate interests. It's, ooh, you're a big mining company. Ooh, you're a big corporate of whatever type. We love you. Ooh, those people who have nothing, let's fuck them even further. That's just ideological, right? And I get that some people have a different ideology to me. They might say that, no, I want things to go this way, which opposes my personal views of going this way. That's politics. That's life. But what this government has done is fucking evil. I can't think of a better word for it. And the Prime Minister, Tony Abbott, has elevated lying to a level I've never seen before. The Conservatives in this country are very fond of saying our previous Prime Minister, Julia Gillard, lied about introducing a carbon tax. Because she categorically said before the election, no government I lead will introduce a carbon tax. But what ended up happening is neither she nor the Conservatives had a majority after the election, and she formed a minority government supported by minor parties, including the Greens, that said, in order for us to support you, you have to introduce a carbon tax. So for her statement to really be a lie, you would have to go back in time and not just ask her, do you want to introduce a carbon tax? Say, look, if you're in a situation where you were in a minority and the only way to form a government was to agree to the minor party saying you have to introduce a carbon tax, would you introduce a carbon tax then? And if she said, no, categorically, I won't introduce a carbon tax, even if it depends on me making government, then she would really, really be lying. But you know what? Let's just accommodate it. Let's just say she lied. She said she'd never introduce a carbon tax, and she did. So let's just say that was a lie. That was one thing. In a single fucking breath, Tony Abbott, in the lead up to the election, said that he would not cut education, he would not cut health, he would not affect pensions, he would not cut the ABC, he would not cut SBS. 5 things in one breath. And he breached all of that in this budget. This budget cuts education, cuts health, cuts ABC, cuts SBS, fucks over pensions. The next thing we're waiting for is for him to increase the GST. So this has elevated lying to a new degree. And I have to admit, I've seen some commentators talking in the media about, oh, what do you think? Politicians lie. Fuck you, you smug cunts. This is lying to an extent I have never seen before. And when people put it point blank to Tony Abbott and say, look, you fucking lied. You said none of these things and you introduced all of them. He says this bizarre fucking comment, oh, I believe we've kept faith with the Australian public. That is also a lie. I do not get how they are getting away with this bullshit. This budget has fucked over the most vulnerable. Let me throw out a few things it's done. Young people in particular, people under 30, it's gone like, oh, university, I tell you what, we're going to get rid of the limits on tertiary fees so universities can charge fucking whatever, and if you want to go to university, then you have to accept this debt. We're going to put on a debt for you that's how much the education costs. Forget what you contribute to the economy and the country. We're just going to say, oh, well, you're a uni student. You've got to fucking pay. These laws are being introduced by people who got free university education. What I'm going to say is pretty much by definition, when you got your education for free and you decide a later generation has to pay, you're a fucking piece of shit. This doesn't affect me. I have a university education. I got it for fucking free. I'm a white hetero dude with a well-paying job. None of this shit affects me adversely. I do really well. I still fucking think this government are a pack of assholes. So there's the university fees. But also, if you're not at university, if you're unemployed and you're under 30, what they've decided is, you know what? You don't get unemployment benefits. You have to wait for 6 months before you get anything. And then you can only have that for 6 months. This is just like pretending youth unemployment doesn't exist. Young people are so adversely affected by unemployment. The national unemployment rate is not that bad, but there are areas of Australia, and this is notably perimeter suburbs of the major cities and provincial centres, rural centres. They have a youth unemployment rate of 20, 30 and 40%. Okay? When unemployment for young people is that bad, this glib statement of, just go get a job, is fucking meaningless. And when they say, we're not going to give you any support, it's basically saying, you have to live at home. Or they say, oh, you have to move to where there are jobs. So it's like, oh, okay, the party that likes to say it's for traditional family values, the Conservatives, say if you're young and you live in an area with bad unemployment, fuck you, you have to move away from your family, away from everyone you know, away from any sort of support, and live by yourself. I'm sorry, young people have a hard enough time as it is. People under 30, the leading cause of death is fucking suicide and depression, okay? This is bullshit. This is evil and sick and wrong. And even saying like, okay, they don't go off and be by themselves, they stay with their family. Then you're saying their parents, the working adults, have to support their kids until they're fucking 30 because there are no jobs. And let's talk about the other things they introduced. They said, oh, let's say you have to pay $7 to visit the doctor. No more bulk billing. I don't fucking care if you come from a part of the world where there's no universal health care. I don't fucking care how fucked your country is. My country had been looking after people. And this federal government has said, yeah, we're kind of fucking sick of looking after people, okay? And they've said, you're going to have to pay for the doctor. You're going to have to pay more for your medicine. You're going to have to pay more for treatment. And the piece of fucking human excrement that is the treasurer, Joe Hockey, has gone, yeah, $37, that's only a couple of beers or a few cigarettes. And it's like, oh, okay, I get it, shithead. What you're saying is these poor people who can't afford this are just a bunch of dull, bludging, drinking, smoking, fucking... These cunts talk about, oh, class warfare. When you say, well, the richest should pay a bit more tax to cover this, that's class warfare. When you have actually waged actual class warfare against the people who are the most vulnerable. Okay, not against me. I like to stress that. I am not these people. I am like an over 30 straight hetero white guy with a well-paying job. Most of this shit works really well for me. I still think you're a fucking cunt for the people that you are targeting and treating as fucking dirt. You know what? We are not an economy. We are a society. We are fucking people. And you pieces of shit make me sick. So let's see, what have we got? So they're fucked up with the uni fees. They're fucked up with unemployment. They're fucked up with health. What else have these pieces of shit done? See, this is the trouble with doing this drunk. It's like drunk history relies on what drunk people could remember. So me doing drunk politics, I don't have my notes. I've just got to remember, what is it that's making me so angry about this? I'll throw out one more thing that's made me angry. After all the things they've cut, what these pieces of shit have actually done have added $250 million for chaplains in schools. Religious chaplains. Let's not spend a lot of time talking about the history of ordained ministers doing horrible things to children, okay? But it's not even the indoctrination of having ministers. Like, prior to this budget, non-ordained counsellors could work in schools, but they have actually specifically excluded non-ordained counsellors. So they've got these chaplains must be in schools. This is a good thing. Chaplains, when you think about religion, by definition, someone who represents a particular religion can only possibly represent a minority of school students. And they appear to think secular counsellors are a bad thing. Someone who can take everyone's side is a bad thing. Someone who by definition can only represent a minority of the students, oh, let's give them $250 million. We will fuck funding for everything else, but let's do this fucking indoctrination and put that in schools. It's just like the contempt I feel for this government is really hard to articulate. Well, actually, I guess it's easy to articulate. They're cunts. Okay? So I'm currently in my country where I still think it's the best place in the world to live. Okay? I have no desire to live anywhere else. But these pieces of shit have decided, oh yeah, all those things that have made up this country for so many years, we're going to fuck those over. We're going to give benefits to the most wealthy. Oh, these mining companies that are just ripping minerals out of the ground that they've done nothing to earn, that they are not working for. Oh, let's give them benefits. Oh, taxing them would be bad. Oh, but families? Families? Oh, people who are poor? Let's charge them to go to the doctor. And you get this dickhead treasurer just saying, oh, if you can't pay $7, you're a fucking drinking, smoking wanker. There are families out there that $7 is the budget for a meal. Not for one person, for the whole family. Talk to anyone in welfare. There are already families who, particularly when winter sets in, they have to choose between, oh, do I buy food? Do I cover medical care for my family? Or do I pay my utility bills? I can only do 2 out of the 3. And these fuckers have just made it worse. Like our federal treasurer going, ooh, these poor people can cope it. He is like the ultra rich. He owns more than $10 million worth of property. These fuckers are so divorced from reality. They hang shit on the weakest people in society and heap benefits on the most cushioned. Fuck these people. I hate them so fucking much. They want to destroy this company. Why did I say company? Because I'm drunk. Actually, wow, it's so cool to be able to answer that question. Why did I say something incoherent? Because I'm drunk. Why does the government say something incoherent? I don't know. Because they're arseholes. That's the theory I'm working on right now.